Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the
Creator Show.
My name's Hassan, and today we have an interesting panel actually. So I'll introduce you to them. First we have Holly.
Hi guys.
And we also have Sebastian.
Hello, hello.
And then across to me we have the one, the only Amanda.
Hi.
So Holly, it's your first time on the show today, isn't it?
Yes, I'm usually behind the camera, so this is my first time in front of it.
Yeah, so
Don't
Holly's first time.
know how I'm feeling about it.
So
Kind
it's
of want to run over there. Back to the camera.
Yeah, so it's funny today because all the videography team is in front of the camera. Normally we're behind the camera, but today we thought let's change it up a little and let's be in front of the camera. Yeah. So guys, we've got an interesting show today because we've got a really interesting topic actually. It's all about decision making. Now, a lot of people watching this show will be on the same boat as us by when is the right time to make that decision? When is the right time to make that commitment to something? Or do we actually just go with the flow? What do you think, Holly?
I think when it comes to decision making, it's like how you feel inside. You know, like how you're feeling. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you, on a low? Are you on a high? That affects what decision you make. Because if you're, really happy and you have the way your life is going, you've made them decisions to get there, but would you make a decision to change anything if you're at your happiest? Whereas if you're on a low and you're really sad and upset and you're in a negative environment, you have to take them steps to make decisions to get out of that environment and change it to benefit yourself. And sometimes it's difficult because of the environment that you're around and the people that you're around. You might have people saying things to you, but if you're not happy, you have to make that decision for you because it's your life and it's how you feel. And not for other people. So I think that's really important.
That's perfectly said. Yeah, so it's about yourself. If you feel happy, if you feel content with it, then you should make that decision for yourself. Yeah, because you only live once, right? Don't you guys?
YOLO.
Yeah.
YOLO. So Seb, what about you? As a musician, I'm sure you've got a lot of decisions to make on stage.
Oh yeah, which chord am I going to play? Which note? I don't think on stage. The only thing I'm thinking about is what pizza shall I have tonight?
Seb loves your food.
The hardest one, what to eat.
Right? These are big, important decisions. Actually, it's funny actually because on a serious note though, I actually think we make a decision out of one of two places, either love or fear. I think everything either comes from here and it's coming from a place of love and understanding and compassion and kindness and positivity, or it comes from fear, whether that's from the environment or different external pressures or something like that. And I was actually having this big decision, not last night, but the night before, because it was about 10:30 at night. Yeah. And I was genuinely thinking, I was like, oh, what shall I have for tea? Big decision.
I don't know.
Right?
It's
been a long day, here with the wealth yogis, everything, then had calls when I got home, and I was like so hungry, not hangry, but definitely hungry. And I was looking, I was opening the fridge, all these different things in there, and I was like, and you just don't know what you want. I was like, I don't know what decision to make. And I was starting to almost make a decision out of fear. I don't want to do that with my food. Right? I was like, I want to love my food, right? So I got my phone out and I was like, oh, Papa John's is shut. I was like, wait a minute, I know exactly what to do. So Domino's, but right, exactly. But then all these decisions, like, can I have this pizza, have that pizza? Yeah. Do I want vegan? Do I want to cheat and have the real cheese? Like, what do I want to do? And then I was looking at the time because it's 10:30. I was like, they're closed soon. They stopped doing delivery. So then I was like, okay, I've got to get ordering now. I'm going to actually go collect it. Like all these big decisions that you have to make, like it's very difficult sometimes. But you'll be pleased to know in the end, I did get vegetarian pizza with cookies and it was amazing. But sometimes like you got to decide quick, Like I had like 5-10 minutes before I was like, okay, no more delivery orders available. Big decisions in life.
So you had a very stressful night then,
but you know what? It was the most beautiful pizza. It was so good. I came home, I watched some Disney. It was great. And I was actually really happy with that decision. I was really, really content.
So guys, sometimes we make that decision for hunger.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I feel like that was a decision made out of love for my tummy.
It's good. At least you enjoyed your pizza, then.
Oh, bro, I did. I loved it. But like in all seriousness, like, because people do get like confused about like the little things in life sometimes. You know, like they get too micro. Like I'm always like Gary Vee talks about this a lot. Like, are you making a micro decision or a macro decision? And I'm always trying to like pull out of things from like I look at from like a 30,000 foot view and make a decision from there. Even for like, okay, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Do I want to be like healthier? Like, these are genuine things that people like can spend hours deciding, right? They get hung up on these little decisions, and it can really take up space in your brain. But if you try and like zoom out of the picture, whether we're talking about, okay, what pizza are we going to order tonight? Oh, it's closing, I need to decide soon. Am I not going to have pizza, but there's nothing in the fridge? What am I going to eat? Or is it like maybe something a bit more serious? Maybe for me, food is very serious. You know, like, okay, what am I going to do with my work? Am I happy where I am? Do I want to do something else with maybe relationships, Tinder, different apps? I don't know, like, oh, big decisions, you know. But if you zoom out and do it from like a bigger level rather than getting caught in the details, for me that always makes a decision easier. But then from there, it's remembering, for me, like I say, love or fear, what am I deciding from? And if I'm coming from a place of fear, I'm definitely going to try and remember to breathe and zoom out and try and make a calmer decision from my heart. And you know, it's like, okay, veggie pizza, love it, right? Cookies, oh, love it, easy decision. But I think what makes it easier is knowing who you are. Like really knowing like what's important to you, what are your values, what are your beliefs, what do you believe in. And
it's very interesting what you said there. Zoom out and make the decision, because there's one quote that I always follow is not to make a decision in happiness and anger. Always sit back and make that decision, and it always works, because when you're really, really happy, you sometimes make a decision but later on you regret it. But when you're angry, you can hurt somebody.
Oh yeah.
If you make a decision in an instant, because both times it's a very difficult period. You can make a lot of decisions, and it could affect your life, and if not your life, it could affect someone else's life. So decision making, like Holly said, it's for you. It's for you personally, but it can affect people around you.
I think every decision affects, even if it is something for you. Like me going to get a pizza, just as a silly example, that did affect like the guy who's making the pizza, and then there's always a ripple effect, a consequence to your actions. Exactly. Well, eyebrow. It is like that. It is, you know, every. Because even not, we were speaking about this earlier, right? Even not making a decision is making a decision within itself. And that will have a ripple effect as well. Like especially if someone's waiting on you to decide something and you're not deciding, then maybe that's holding up something for them, and that, you know, you don't know the ripple of effect of, okay, so that person's waiting for you to get back to them and whatever else.
It's a domino game, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It really can be quite an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point about making a decision when you're emotional, especially anger. If you're angry. And when it comes to these big, obviously if you're angry because you're hungry, then you just need to make the decision to get the food and eat quickly. But as in like big decisions, you might regret the
food then if it's not nice. Yeah,
I've never regretted food.
Wrong decision.
But if it's like a bigger decision, like something that will really change your life, let's say you're in a relationship and you just had an argument with someone and you're both so angry, just do not make a decision that will change your life when you're so emotional in that anger, because you might not be able to go back and you might regret it. So I'd always say sleep on it, take a moment, calm down, come back to like your level that you're usually on, and then think about the situation and make your decision. As an example.
Perfectly said. What do you think, Amanda? Because you're a videographer like us, so we have all these last minute decisions to make, because we all work together in this company, but we also have a wider picture outside as well as freelancers. So we always have these decisions to make, last minute decisions, sometimes stressful clients. So what do you take on that? What decision do you make on last time, and how does it affect the whole work?
Like what's been said, I think you just need to make the one that you think's right. And you know, like with clients as well, like if they don't like it, then it's fine, you can change it. So that's nothing permanent. But I think decisions is a very broad word, context, because you can make a decision like Seb says, like, what do you want for your dinner? Or you can make a decision like, do I want to break up with my boyfriend, you know? But I think some decisions, like, you can't, you know how like people might be like, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, and they've made that decision. Tomorrow comes and they're like,
they'll go. I'll go
Maybe
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Holly.
I'm there with you, don't worry.
Yeah, but then like that's fine. That kind of
No.
decision where you go back on it is like doesn't really have many consequences. I mean, apart from your health, which obviously you should always prioritize.
Yeah.
But like, for example, in a relationship, if you're making that decision whether you want to stay or leave, say it's a negative one and it's not going well, you don't want to leave and then regret it and then go back and then leave because you're just constantly back and forth. So I think in that type of context, you need to make a decision and stick to it because
Yeah.
otherwise you're just going to be in a constant loop, in a constant circle. You're not really going to go forward or get anywhere.
Yeah.
So it really depends what context you're talking about.
That's interesting because like with relationships and stuff, like you say, you never want to make a decision in anything, like in the heat of a moment, a good or a bad one, because maybe not your normal self thinking. But like, I had a friend and he was with somebody and he wasn't happy, but then he found it difficult. Like he was like, I want to make it work, but how long do you keep trying to make it work if you already know that you're not happy? And sometimes when you've already, like you've made up in your mind, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, whether it's your health, whatever, you know, when you've already actually made your mind up in your heart, in your head already, like actually this isn't working. But then you're like, how do you navigate that? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you, where's the line? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's difficult sometimes for people.
When you make the decision as well, like with relationships, you have to like accept it, if that makes sense. So like, obviously I had an ex and I ended it with him, but for like months I was just so sad, and every time I thought of him it made me sad. But then one day, like it was like a switch, one day I just accepted that I've made that decision to leave, that's done now. So now when I think back, I just think of like the positive times I had, and like, oh, I'm glad I had fun, you know, I went out and did all these things, rather than just thinking about the fun but then getting sad, because it's like you were in denial. I wish that you don't want to have the regret. Make the decision and then accept that you've made that decision.
That you made it,
If
That's
that
perfectly said, because I know a few of my close friends, they've been in a relationship for like 8 to 10 years, and they're not happy, but they can't leave as well because they can't make that decision. It's always going around in circles, and that's perfectly said.
Yeah, you have to accept you've made it, otherwise.
Letting go is like so hard. Like it's so easy if we would say, oh, you need to go, you need to leave, you need to make the decision, you need to move on. But being in that situation, it's just so difficult when you're actually in it. You just can't sometimes you can't bring yourself to make a decision. But
you have to trust that you know that you're going to be okay.
Yeah, you have to always trust your gut.
Eventually it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Time heals.
I think it's more that, isn't it? It's like the fear of the unknown, of the change.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, love and fear.
Yeah. Decisions change your routine, so it's not knowing what's going to happen after you make the decision, and you're changing your life and routine.
Yeah, because whether it's
that's like a fear, so that's like making a decision in a fear,
100%.
because you're worried, but you shouldn't be worried.
As well, aren't you?
missing the routine. Because even with work, like people get so used to working in a routine. If you've worked somewhere for a long time, you're like, oh, it's going to be different somewhere else, or doing my own thing. Like the same thing, like that fear of a change in routine, the unknown.
But then when you realise, like with your ex or person, you realise that you've got to realise that you're just missing the routine. You're not missing him or her.
There was a reason you were unhappy enough to decide
you
actually not.
You be like, wait, no, I left for a reason. I made a decision for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna accept that and move on and be happy.
Yeah, and you always got to think like whatever decision you make, everything always happens for a reason, and everything will always work itself out. So like if you're in a bad situation right now and you have to make that decision to get out of a bad situation, do not worry, because things will get better for you. And you've just got to look at the positives and take more steps to change your life into a positive way, whether it's moving away from somewhere, whether it's leaving a company, whether it's, you know, leaving a relationship. Just get out of a negative situation and your life will slowly get better, even though it won't feel like it at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I said really well said. It's like the biggest decision people made was during this last year, lockdown. Health.
Yeah.
For wealth decisions, relationship, everything. Like a lot of people didn't think they'll make a decision. They made a lot of decisions during lockdown, and I think one of the most important things people made a decision about was the health.
Yeah, I became vegetarian.
Oh, did
during
you?
Lockdown.
During lockdown.
During lockdown.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how was that?
Loving it.
Yeah, I'm still vegetarian now, so
It's working.
I
isn't it?
stuck to it. I accepted it, even though when my boyfriend cooks bacon in the morning, I'm like, oh, don't eat it. But it smells good.
So
But yeah.
what made you make that decision?
Because I saw a lot of stuff on Netflix as well. There's loads of documentaries out about meat and how it isn't great. I mean, I know there's pros and cons to everything, but from what I watched and what I read and stuff, I just saw that being vegetarian was healthier than meat eaters. So I thought, okay, I'll try it, because at the time, all I knew to eat was like vegetables, so I just ate veg and rice. And I was doing like home workouts and stuff, so I felt like healthier because I was always feeling really tired, and after I ate like chicken or any form of meat, I'd always feel really bloated and just like kind of gross. I'd never feel good. But when I started eating my vegetarian meals, I felt so much like lighter and healthier, clean, had more energy. So I'm very glad I made that decision. I don't think I'd ever go back.
It's interesting though with stuff like that, right? With the okay, I want to change my diet, I want to try and change my workout routine, or something like that. Like, you can try it. Do you know what I mean? So some things are easier because you can try it, and if it doesn't work out, you can't. Other decisions are a bit more like permanent. You do that one thing, sometimes there's maybe no going back. It's interesting but the reason I mention that is because sometimes, well, quite often, I think you can imagine what it might be like, but sometimes you just don't know until you're there, until you're experiencing it.
But sometimes, like, it takes a few tries.
Well, exactly.
You know, like, I was vegetarian before, but I lasted 6 months. But this time, what, has it been like 2 years now?
Yeah.
So sometimes, if you don't do it the first time, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You try again.
My dad always taught me to try everything twice. Because he said the first time maybe you're a bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous. He was like, the second time you'd be a bit calmer, a bit more yourself. Exactly. As you probably get an actual better idea of what it's like.
Yeah, and then you can stick to it if you
feel it.
Yeah. So are you vegetarian as well, or are you vegan?
Yeah, so interestingly
you cannot call yourself a vegan. You just got Domino's pizza last night.
I didn't get the vegan one though. No, but during lockdown for about nearly a year, I think, I was actually properly vegan. And that was good. I was living with a vegan at the time, so everything I was eating was just, I was kind of more or less vegetarian anyway, but it went more that way. And actually,
just because of the person you live with,
just the environment. Because, like, you know, when you're cooking in the household with a couple of people, I was like, oh, everything's vegan anyway, so it was just easy. I really enjoyed it. I felt better, you know, like you, all of that. And then when I started living by myself again, I was like, oh, I was just in that routine. I was just there. But then I really miss cheese. So
we all like cheese, man. We all like cheese.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, so guys, so I'll just wrap you up, guys, here. So we all have made decisions in our life. We've all made big decisions. We've made small decisions. We've even made decisions on food, which we think is probably nothing, but to many people, it's a huge thing. So one thing you guys would say is, what is the biggest decision you've made so far in your life? Holly, I'll start from you. The biggest decision you've made so far?
Probably losing an animal.
Oh.
Yeah, so your pet, knowing if they're in a bad place and they're old and they're poorly, the biggest decision was doing what was best for her and not what was best for me. So not holding on because of my feelings.
Oh, that's nice. How about you, Seb?
I think the biggest decision I made in my life probably was deciding to do music full time and dive into that and do weddings and events and all of that stuff. The personal growth, the professional growth, the experiences, playing all around Europe, crazy stories. I wouldn't change that. I'm really glad I did that.
That's really good. Amanda, any big decisions you've made so far?
I'd say the biggest one probably ever in my life is my spinal operation.
Oh.
Yeah, because that was a decision I had to make, but decided to do it, and I'm good, I'm alive, I'm fine.
It's a very good decision, though. My biggest one was sitting here and hosting this show.
You should have seen this guy before the camera started rolling.
This is like our 5th take.
Yeah, actually. But no, a big decision for me was actually choosing the media field. Me actually going on to do a degree in media. because if you're Asian, you would know the only thing you're successful in is doctor, accountant, and what else is it? Lawyer. Yeah. So me choosing a media degree was a big decision for me. My family wasn't too keen on that, but then when it's worked and it's working out now, thankfully, and everything's going per plan, then it's all a right decision. So I don't regret it one bit. But yeah. So guys, thanks a lot for being on the show. I'm so happy we had a really nice chat about decision making. And guys, if you have any value from this show today, if you even just enjoyed watching us laugh and telling you some food jokes or anything, then please hit the like button and drop comments below, guys, to let us know where you have tuned in from. And also, if you have made a big decision in your life, what is that decision? Or if you're going through maybe a situation where you don't know what decision to make, then it would be nice to share that in the comments below, guys. And finally, guys, if you're new to this channel, if you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification icon. That's the bell icon on the side, by the way, so you can get notified whenever we post a new video daily. But for now, guys, once again, thank you guys for being on the show. Until next time, goodbye. My name's Hassan, and for you, yeah.
Hassan, sound exciting.
It is a good question because it's.
Everyone stop there. What's up with the camera?
Camera's dead.
Have you got a spare battery for that?
Snap it.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Seb. Really.
No, start again.
Environment. Yeah. So, yeah. Cool.
And then there was 4 introverts on the sofa.
5 hours later.
Hey, well done. Well done.